Well, hello, everybody. I have a very exciting topic to share with you tonight because I don't know about you all, but who would love to sell at least a minimum of another $1,000 before the end of the month? Like we're not even halfway through the month. So a minimum of $1,000, right? So what I'm going to share with you, some of you have a clientele that's big. Some of you have a customer base of 75 to 200 women that are buying from you on a regular basis. So yes, you can wrap stuff that's cute, go online and not go online, but have a holiday boutique and people will come and they'll buy and all of that. And we're going to do some training in our meeting later on a different video on different ways to sell. But what about the people who don't have a big clientele yet? Like, let's say you've got 3 customers or 5 customers or 10 customers, and you want to have some great sales for the holidays. So I'm going to share with you an idea that would actually be extremely simple to do. Everybody could do this. It's not rocket science. Okay. So I'm going to give you because I know some of you are very detailed people. So here's what I'm going to suggest you do. You're going to take a piece of paper and you're going to make a list of where you already have a connection. So let's just brainstorm and let's pick our top 3. So my top 3 are going to be these. One would be a dentist or an orthodontist office where you go, like your dentist or your orthodontist, right? Um, and so that's a possibility of one. Another one would be a realtor that works in a really large real estate office. Is somebody able to watch the chat and let people in for me, please? So one would be maybe your dentist or orthodontist because the dental offices close for lunch break. You all know that, right? They're closed for like an hour and a half for a lunch break. Dental offices, real estate offices, there's usually a meeting a week where they ask all the realtors to come in. Okay. So that could possibly be another one. You might also know somebody who works at a physical therapy place, or you're really looking for offices that have a minimum of 6 employees or more. You know, like going to an insurance office where there's one person answering the phone and the insurance agent's not ideal. I mean, you could do that, but it's not as ideal. So I'm looking for an office that would have at least 6 employees or more. Maybe not a chiropractic office unless it's really, really big. But I'm thinking, and type in the chat if you've got more ideas. I'd love your ideas. So dental offices, orthodontist offices, doctor's offices. Now, a lot of you, if you go to Kaiser or Sutter Health or John Muir or whatever, that may not be an option. So, but think about maybe your optometrist or where you had your eyes tested. There might be multiple employees there. Real estate offices are great. Also, if you go to a nail salon, they might have an opportunity for you to go in and do a display there. So one of the places that I'm going to do is I've already reached out to a realtor friend of mine and also my dentist. Teachers Lounge at a school is actually a great idea because the teachers, you could do one immediately right after school. That would be super fun to do like a luxury. You could do like an after school snack, not an after school snack time where like if school gets out at 3, from 3 to 4, you could do a pop-up. That's a great idea. So let me kind of walk you through. So the first thing you do is you make this list, and I would definitely start with places where you already have a connection. So like my dentist, I've been going to for 5 or 6 years, or maybe longer, 10 years. So I know he'll say yes. And his wife's also a customer of mine. And then I know 2 or 3 attorneys. Most of them work in a small office, but one works in a larger office. I know 4 or 5 really big realtors that work in an office that's has a lot of realtors in it. Another one might be a mortgage company. They may not have a designated lunch because they're all kind of in there doing their thing. But if you knew that you'd going in, a mortgage office would be great because there's a ton of people there in the office. So the first thing you do is you reach out to, let's say, your customer. So I'm going to reach out to Wendy, my friend, and say to her, Wendy, I have this brilliant idea. How would you like to get full hostess credit, which means up to $200 shopping spree at half price, by having anywhere from 3 or more coworkers get together for a pop-up boutique at lunch? I'll bring the dessert, which is going to be chocolate kisses. And how does that sound? All you've got to do is take a flyer that I'm going to send you and just either stick it on your desk or let everybody in the office know. What do you think? And she's going to say, of course, I'd love to do that. Because who doesn't want to do their Christmas shopping at half off, right? Now, when you do that, yes, you don't make any profit on her purchase, but you will. And so you can stipulate that and say as long as the office party is at least 200 in sales, you get an additional $200 shopping spree at half off. So you know you're going to walk out of there probably with at least 300 in sales. Does that make sense? All right. So once you secure it, I would make a super simple invite, nothing complicated, a quick little Canva thing that just maybe it'll say like pop up boutique for lunch or pop up boutique and I'm providing chocolate for dessert, and everybody brings their own sack lunch or whatever. All right, so let's talk about the logistics. What do you actually bring? You do not want to look like you're moving into the office. If you walk into the dental office, let's say they do lunch from 12 to 1:30, which is when my dentist does it. So 12 to 1:30, they don't have any patients come in. So at 10 to 12, I do not want to walk in with a wheelie, a couple boxes. I don't want to look like I'm moving in, right? So what do? I'd suggest you take a roll up bag like this and put your demo product, anything you're going to demonstrate in your roll up. So if your roll up is for skincare parties, maybe take some of that stuff out. And then what I would suggest you do is you get either a banker's box or a paper, a box that you buy cases of paper. You go to Costco and buy a whole case of paper. If you don't, ask somebody in an office, they have them. So this is the banker's box. It normally has a lid. And what you're going to do is you're going to wrap this in some really heavy foil wrapping paper. And so you're going to wrap the bottom and you're going to wrap the lid. Okay. And there's a reason for this. Inside the box, you're going to put another smaller box. So you're going to put another box, like a smaller inventory box, bigger than a shoe box. Are y'all with me? And then you're going to put in here black fabric. I just happen to have a black tablecloth. Okay. And then you're going to put products in here that are going to make the display look good. So when you walk into the office, you have this cutely wrapped box that you're holding onto and your roll-up bag. That's it. That's all you need. You're not bringing a ton of other stuff, okay? Because you can always have more stuff out in your car. Now, in the box, you're going to have stuff that's already wrapped and super cute and gorgeous. So for example, you're going to bring obviously the Mint Bliss with the socks, but you're going to bring it also wrapped cutely so you can start taking orders. You want to have about 10 to 12 things to show and demo. You don't want to bring everything because too much information. So what you're going to bring is you're going to bring a pen for every single person, a paper profile. Now you can use the company's two-part profile. I use Emily Schuette's profile card. That's just a single sheet of paper. Do I have one here in front of me? That would be no. But it's a single sheet where they put their information on it. Most importantly, you want to give them each a wish list, and you want to bring a pen, and you're going to bring chocolate. I would probably, right now, Halloween candy may be on sale. So if you get these huge, massive bags of chocolate, they're assorted like M&Ms and candy bars and whatever, as long as it's chocolate. And I would literally, if they don't like chocolate, then, oh well, I guess. But I would literally put it in either a big bowl or just literally sprinkle it around the table because you can always pick up what they don't eat, right? So they get there and they come in and say, go ahead and start eating your lunch, you guys. I'm just going to give you some things. Here's a wish list. I'll explain that. Here's a profile card. All that information is just for me. We're going to have some fun. So as they're starting to eat their lunches or whatever, you're going to take this box that's already cutely decorated and you're going to be able to set things on top of this with the lid on it. And then you're going to take the other box that's slightly smaller and you're going to throw black fabric over it. Does that make sense? And you don't want this super wild. You don't want like red and green reindeer with snow. I mean, you don't want this like super wild plaid. I would do something really classic, like all silver or all gold or silver and gold stripes or snowflakes, something that doesn't have a lot of color, just because you don't want it to compete with your wrapping. All right. So if this has got red reindeer and green, whatever, and then you bring out something else, it may or may not look as good. Okay. Because the eye buys. All right. So when you take the lid off, you're going to literally unpack all of this, right? Put all the product out. Put the lid back on, put a few of the lighter weight items on the lid of the box, and then on the other box with the black fabric, you're going to display other things. And then what you're going to do is what I would do is I would say, well, you guys, what we're going to do really quick, I know some of you have already started eating lunch, but we're going to start with satin hands because that way your hands are clean in case you touch anything else. So if you guys are all good with that, let's just do satin hands. Now, what I've often done is when people start kind of trickling in, I will literally start doing satin hands on them then. So like, let's say Lori and Melanie walk in first. So I'll do demonstrate satin hands and someone else will kind of straggle in a minute later. And I'll say, oh, I'll get to you in just a second. And then, so you're demoing satin hands on everybody. You're going to wait till they're totally done with their lunch because most of the lipstick will have worn off by then to do satin lips. Does that make sense? So I wouldn't take more than 10 to 12 products to take orders. So you're going to walk them through the wish list. And what you're going to say to them is, put a line down the center of the wish list. Think about, or you could even say to them, I'm going to give you guys some suggestions of people you might need to buy for in case you haven't thought of them. Are you getting anything? Do you have a housekeeper? Do you have a gardener or landscaper? Do you have a babysitter? Do you have any admin or office help? Now, if it's in a real estate office, they buy a lot of gifts for people who jump through hoops throughout the year. So my realtor bought a couple gifts for his stager. He bought a gift for the person who does his pest inspections, another person who does his roof and electrical inspections. So he has people throughout the year that jump through hoops to get inspections done quickly, financing people, mortgage people, and he wants to do an appreciative thank you. He or she will want something that looks expensive and super classy, but doesn't cost them a lot of money. They're allowed to legally write off $25 for a gift, for appreciation, considered a business expense. So some of the things I would do is you want to get something for all six categories. You want to make sure you take something for men. You want to take something for sure for teenagers. You want to take something for the fashionista. We've talked about this in my holiday boutique, something sparkly and fun. You want to take something for the minimalist, the girl who says, I don't do makeup. That would be satin hands, satin lips, that kind of thing. Okay. You want to take something for the woman who travels, or at least plant that seed with that idea. And then office gifts. I would probably bring maybe two or three gifts that would be ideal for an office. And what you're going to do is you're going to say, you might even give them 2 sheets of paper. And there are some other wish list things out there that I can post that actually have a place that says people to buy for. And then over here it says, I would love under the tree, or I would love in my stocking. So they're actually making 2 lists. If they smell this and try this and say, I have to have that mint bliss, this would go on their list. But if they're thinking, you know what, that would be so great for my bunco group. We do a white elephant exchange, right? I bring 3 gifts for my girls at the Bible study or whatever, because for $12, where are you going to get a cute gift with socks, right? And if you missed out on the free socks, you can just get socks like a Dollar Tree or whatever. It's not a big deal. Okay, so let's talk about what to bring. For men, you could do fragrance. So it depends on the group. If like in the dental office, it's all women except for the guy dentist. Like literally, he's got probably 9 women that work in that office. So for them, I might actually bring 2 or 3 of my most favorite fragrances by volume setting, like Cityscape, Ocean, and maybe High Intensity Sport or whatever. Whatever your favorite is what you're going to sell. That's the bottom line. And what I always say to them, I say, now, how many of you love the fragrance that your husband was currently wearing? Like you just like the second he puts it on, you're like, oh my God, I love that. And maybe a few people will raise their hands. And then I'm going to say to them, but not everybody feels that way about their fragrance. So if you smell one of these and you really love it, it's a perfect opportunity to get rid of the one you don't really like and sub in a new one. But I will always talk about the importance of men's skincare. So I would pass around this. This happens to be just a glass stein, and it has the moisturizer and the cleanser and a tube of mineral sunscreen in here. So this is already done as a set. So I would take that. This I'm probably not going to pass, but I would pass maybe the moisturizer around. Does that make sense? But I'm going to put this on the top of where the boxes are, because what will happen is people will say, oh yeah, what men do I need to buy for? A dad, an uncle, your brother, your husband, your significant, like whoever, right? And you might even help them brainstorm a little bit about the men that they need to buy for. So I would definitely take something for the men. Charcoal mask, I would show them, because charcoal mask, you're going to probably preface it by saying this one product, I'm probably going to mention 5 or 6 times, because it is the perfect gift for the teen boy. It's the perfect gift for your sister. It's the perfect gift for your mom. It's the perfect gift for everybody, right? So charcoal mask, I would show it kind of generically wrapped, and then maybe bring another charcoal mask with like a pink, cute, fuzzy headband on it, geared more toward women. Okay, so some of the things I would definitely take to demo is I would take Mint Bliss with socks to demo. Okay, I would show hydrogel eye patches wrapped really cute, but I would take your jar, your demo jar, and if you don't have one, you will now. Unscrew it. You just pass it. They don't have to try one on. Just literally pass it so they can see what the jar looks like and explain how it works, and tell them this is a spa gift. This is like all about pampering. Okay. Then for the minimalist person, I would definitely show satin hands, satin lips. You're going to demo satin hands, so you want to have a set. Your demo set will be there to show, but you want to have a very cutely wrapped set. So you only need one set wrapped. Are you all with me on this one? You don't need to bring multiples, because what's going to happen is you'll take orders that day and you'll deliver it usually when you'll deliver it usually the next week. And so what happens is often is when they place an order, I'll ask them, is there a certain date? Now, keep in mind, don't do everything for Christmas. There's a lot of people who have November, December birthdays. And so you don't want anything like this. Doesn't really look Christmas. This could be for a birthday, right? It just, because it's red and white and green, but it's got pink in it and stuff. So this could be for Christmas. This could be for a birthday as well. So everything doesn't have to be Christmas wrapped. I try to keep things as neutral as possible. Since the socks are pink and red, I'm trying to keep most of my stuff gold, silver, pink, and red, except for the guys' stuff, which is mainly in black and white. Okay, so for the minimalist, so for off minimalist, I would definitely show satin lips, satin hands, the mint bliss. Those are all super easy things to do. You are also, I forgot, you are going to want to give every single person there a lookbook. And what I would do is either have them flip to the very back so they can circle things as you're talking about them, because that way when they leave, because I've done this before when they're going, okay, now what did you show us all? And unless you're going to make a closing sheet just for that presentation, is I just say, okay, so that's on the top of page. So you can literally just have them, there's only 6 pages in the back. So you can have them circle that. I would absolutely take a brush set, pass the brush set around like the open zippered brush set and let them see that. Um, I think the mint bliss is going to be huge. Satin hands, satin lips, charcoal mask, micellar water. Now, when you show the eye makeup remover, what I will tell you guys is the eye buys. When you bling these out like this, everyone's going to want one. And so whether you put it in front of the box and you wrap it like this, or if you want to push the ends into the box and you put it on top of the box, you can do that. I would pair these with micellar water and a headband. And so when you pair them with micellar water and a headband, I just sell it for 40. The headbands cost me $2. Micellar's 18. This is 20. Rounded up, it's just an even 40 bucks. Does that make sense? That's going to be a huge, huge, huge seller. If they say, well, I just want the eye makeup remover by itself, you're like, okay, well, I can do that. And you're going to take their orders. Okay. I would definitely also take a roll up bag. So again, this is all going to fit in this box that you have wrapped. So just envision this. You take the lid off this, and in here is a roll up laying on its side, empty, not the big one you've got filled, right? And you're going to have a men's set. You're going to have maybe a couple fragrances, maybe one for women and two for men, and let them know you have more fragrances if they're interested. A micellar water and an eye makeup remover blinged out. If you're writing all this down, I would take mint bliss with socks, satin hands, satin lips, hydrogel eye patches. So those are just some of the really key kind of basic ones to do. You can always do a lot more than that. I would definitely take some of the travel size skincare because that is perfect for everybody, the travel girl, the minimalist, all of that. So what happens is as they pass it, you're constantly saying you might want to add that to your own list. Don't forget to add to your own wish list. They need to be constantly reminded, or oh, don't forget to put that. If you love this, don't forget to put that maybe on your list. And write down who your Santa is. Most of the wish lists say on there, my Santa is, and there's room to put 2 names and 2 numbers. Could be their sister, could be their mom, could be their spouse, their kid, their parent, whoever, right? Okay, so that way you don't look like a hot mess. And so how do you close? Because so this is the little awkward part. When I did my very first one, there were like 7 women there and they were all looking through the book. And I thought, well, how do I do this? So it was a little awkward. I said, well, you guys, I know you only have 20 more minutes of your lunch break. So I'm going to meet with each one of you individually really quick. I did bring a spa sample and it was a little awkward. So then on the next one, what I did is I gave everyone a ticket when I got there. And then if they asked me questions, I gave them another ticket. And then at the end, I said, well, you guys, let's do this. I want to close with each one of you because I brought a specific spa sample. So I bring my little zipper pouch with probably 20 spa samples in there, glycolic, vitamin C, charcoal mask, gel mask. I said, I want to give each one of you a special sample depending on what your skincare needs are. And I want to make sure I can read your information on your wish list. So who would like to go first and get 3 extra tickets? And someone goes, I do, I want to go first. And so when they do that, I will give that person 3 extra tickets. And then I will sit with them and say, did you have fun? And what did you think? What are the things that you'd love on your wish list? And then I will always say to them at the beginning, if you purchase anything today, I just need a 50% deposit today and the rest on delivery. That really helps them financially. So let's just say, like today is the 11th, and let's say they get paid on the 15th. You might say, well, I can get 50% now, and then I'll come back a week from today and I'll deliver the rest. So unless they need it like 2 days later for a birthday party or something. So that not only gives you half down, but that gives them time to space it out. People love a deal. The other thing I highly suggest is you take the November special deals with you if it's November instead of December. So the goal would be as soon as they spend 50, say, well, I saw you look at those brushes. Do you know once you spend 50, you can get the brush set for half price? Or, oh my gosh, you can get the men's shaving cream for half price when you spend 50. If you spend 100, you can get 2 things. So they might take these things for themselves and spend the rest on gifts. I've also run into several women who say, oh my gosh, I haven't seen Mary Kay in years. Or they'll say, I didn't know it was around or whatever. And I will pick up customers and I'll say, well, would you like me to invite you to our next makeover event? It's in a week and I can drop off samples. I want that. And so you could even schedule a virtual or an in-person back at the office kind of an event. So the goal is when you get there, you want to plant the seed. You want to actually demo. This is what I do: satin hands, satin lips. I let them rub a little bit of the mint bliss on their leg if they can, or on their foot. You can actually massage this even through compression socks and stockings. I show them I show them how creamy our eyeliners are by an eye pencil. Like I'll take the navy or the black and I'll have them draw on the back of their hand and just leave it there. And I'll say, don't take it off. I'll take it off later. And about 10 minutes later, I talk about the eye makeup remover, show how cool it is, shake it up, give them one little cotton pad. And when they go like this and it all comes off, they're like, whoa, that's amazing. And then they all want to buy that. I don't usually demo micellar water because they're on their lunch break and they're eating. Then at the end, I do satin lips on them and they fall in love with that. And I do make sure that I can read their profile with their specifically their phone number so that as soon as I leave the office, because some may not order right then, they're like, can I look at the book and text you tonight? I'll say yes. And I always do specials. Like if you spend this tonight, you get this at half off, or if you buy three of these, you get the fourth one at half off, or whatever. And those specials I leave open for 24 hours. So I hope this gave you guys a couple ideas. Can you imagine if you did one of these in a real estate office, one of these in a dental office, and one of these at a school? Teachers would love that. Nurses, another place would be at the end of a shift. If you know of a senior community like an independent living or a skilled nursing, the shift, if it gets off at 2 in the afternoon and you show up at 2 to just, and let them know, obviously you want to give them a week or two notice so they know to make arrangements to stick around. But you guys, it's fun. It's very lucrative. It's quick. You are in and out in an hour and you take orders. And then you can also put on the bottom, say, please write the word facial please write the word facial on the bottom if you'd like me to invite you to our next facial event, if you'd like to have a spa experience. And then you just take those leads and go with that. But you're offering this to one woman with hostess credit, and that's usually the contact you have. So it'd be the realtor you know, the mortgage broker that you know. Does that make sense? All right. I hope you guys have got something out of this. Please get into action because once you do one, because the first one I screwed up on a lot of it, like I couldn't figure out how to close them. I didn't have paper receipts. It was kind of like a hot mess. But once I did one, I was like, and I sold a lot. I think I sold like 470 at my first one. I'm thinking, well, man, I screwed it up and I was not too bad. So then I just figured there's always room for improvement, right? All right, you guys, I hope this helped, but get into action. Do one. Get one booked this week.